1954. A bathroom in a row house outside Pittsburgh. The linoleum is cold, the door is shut, and a woman sits on the edge of the bathtub with one ankle propped on the rim. A kitchen timer ticks on the back of the sink. The smell is sharp, sulfurous, impossible to ignore. A thick pink cream covers her shin from ankle to knee. She waits. She wipes. The hair comes away clean. No razor, no salon, no appointment. These are 15 hair removal methods that were standard practice in American homes before the beauty industry decided women needed a new product every season. Some of them cost nothing, some of them were dangerous, and one of them used radiation. Number 15. Depilatory cream. A thick chemical cream spread on the skin, left for minutes, and wiped away. The hair dissolved. No blade touched the body. Carter Products introduced Nair in 1940. The original formula in the pink tube, about 69 cents by the mid-1950s. The smell was sulfurous, eye-watering, and impossible to forget. Calcium thioglycolate dissolving the protein bonds in the hair shaft. Applied with a flat wooden spatula or the back of a butter knife. The slight burn if you left it 1 minute too long. The cool washcloth wipe. The impossibly smooth skin underneath. Neat was the earlier competitor, on shelves since the early 1920s. Every woman over 60 remembers that smell. She does not need to read the label. Her nose already knows what the beauty aisle has tried to make her forget. But long before the chemistry arrived, women were using something far older, something that came from the ground itself. Number 14. The pumice stone. A rough volcanic stone rubbed in small circles across damp skin. The hair wore away by friction. Nothing more. A gray or tan stone, light enough to float in bathwater, sold at the 5 and dime for a nickel. Wetted under the faucet or used in the tub. The circular motion on the calf, the forearm, the upper lip. The faint rasp of stone on wet skin. The fine dust of powdered hair washing down the drain. Women across the Mediterranean and the American Southwest had used pumice for centuries before it appeared in American drugstores. No expiration date, no replacement cartridge. A stone that lasted years and asked for nothing but water. Number 13. Hydrogen peroxide bleaching. Women did not always remove the hair. Sometimes they made it invisible. A cotton ball soaked in hydrogen peroxide dabbed across the upper lip or forearms turned dark hair pale blonde. A brown bottle from the medicine cabinet. 3% solution. 10 cents. The faint fizz on the skin. The cold sting. Done at the bathroom mirror after the children were in bed. Not removal, camouflage. Jolene Cream Bleach arrived later in the 1960s in a small white and blue box for about $1.29, mixed with an activator powder on a tiny plastic tray. The ammonia smell that made the eyes water. Applied with a small spatula, left 10 minutes, wiped clean. Dark hair on the upper lip turned to invisible gold. She did not erase the hair. She made it disappear in plain sight. The same quiet strategy she applied to most things that made her self-conscious. The peroxide came from the medicine cabinet. The next method came from the kitchen, and it required nothing but a saucepan and a bag of sugar. Number 12. Kitchen sugaring. A paste made from white sugar, lemon juice, and water, cooked on the stove until it turned amber. Spread on the skin, pressed with a cotton strip, and pulled. The hair came out by the root. 2 cups of white sugar, a 1/4 cup of lemon juice, a 1/4 cup of water. Stirred over medium heat until it reached the color of dark honey. The sweet burnt caramel smell filling the kitchen, spread warm in the direction of hair growth with a butter knife. A torn strip of old bedsheet pressed flat. 1 quick pull against the grain. The sting, the clean patch of bare skin. The recipe passed woman to woman, grandmother to daughter to neighbor across the back fence. It found its way into American kitchens through immigrant communities and cost almost nothing. Sugar and lemon, the same ingredients that made lemonade on the porch. She waxed her legs with what she baked with. Nobody had to sell her permission. Number 11. Sandpaper mitts. Small discs or mitts lined with fine grit sandpaper, rubbed in circles on dry skin. The hair was literally sanded away. Marketed under names like Mitt Mar and Smoothies in the 1940s and 50s. Sold through the beauty aisle and mail-order catalogs for 35 to 50 cents. A pink or peach-colored oval mitt, fine grit on one side, soft fabric on the other. Small circular motions on the forearm, the shin, the upper lip. The faint sanding sound, the fine dust on the skin afterward. The smooth result, like buffed wood. She sanded her legs the way a carpenter sanded a drawer front, patiently, by hand, until the surface was exactly right. The beauty industry eventually called it primitive. She called it Tuesday. 5 methods in, and not one of them was invented by a corporation. Pumice came from the earth. Sugar came from the pantry. Peroxide came from the medicine cabinet. Sandpaper came from the hardware aisle. The chemical cream was the only product a company could put its name on, and even that was just calcium and sulfur in a tube. Everything else belonged to the woman already. That is exactly why those methods disappeared. You cannot build a subscription model around a lemon and a bag of sugar. Number 10. The Lady Gillette Safety Razor. The first safety razor designed, marketed, and packaged specifically for women. A long-handled razor in a flower-shaped case. Gillette introduced the Lady Gillette in 1963. A chrome-plated razor with a long blue or turquoise handle designed for reach in the bath. Sold in a molded plastic case shaped like a daisy. The blade was identical to the men's double-edged safety blade. Same steel, same sharpness. About $1.79 for the razor, 5 cents per replacement blade. Before 1963, women used men's razors or used no razor at all. Gillette's real innovation was not the blade, it was the color of the handle. They sold women their own husband's razor at a markup with a longer grip and a flower on the box. The blade did not change. The marketing did. That one turquoise handle helped create a women's shaving industry now worth over $6 billion a year worldwide. The price of being told you needed your own, but the Lady Gillette was the polished, packaged solution. What women were doing at home before it arrived involved a saucepan, a block of paraffin, and a level of pain tolerance the beauty industry never advertised. Number 9. Hot paraffin wax on the kitchen stove. Women melted blocks of paraffin wax on the stove, let it cool slightly, spread it on the skin, and pulled it off in strips. The hair came out by the root, Gulf wax or Parawax from the canning aisle at the A&P, used for sealing jelly jars and removing leg hair with equal efficiency. About 20 cents a block, melted in a double boiler or a small saucepan set inside a larger one. Temperature tested on the inside of the wrist, the way a mother tested a baby's bottle. Spread thin with a butter knife on the shin. A torn strip of cotton pressed flat. One breath, one pull. The sharp sting, the red skin, the perfect smooth patch underneath. She sealed her jam jars in September and waxed her legs in the same kitchen with the same block of wax. Her life was not divided into categories. Neither were her tools. Number 8. The Tweezing Marathon. Before wax strips and chemical creams, women sat at the vanity mirror and tweezed. Not just the eyebrows, arms, upper lip, sometimes the full length of both legs. Hair by hair. Lacrosse tweezers with the slanted tip. Revlon's precision pair at about $1.10 from the 5 and 10. the tiny metallic snap of each hair pulled free. A full leg could take an entire afternoon. Women tweezed during radio programs, during telephone calls, during the long quiet after the children went to bed. The slight red bump at each follicle that faded by morning. Patience was not a personality trait for these women. It was a grooming tool. The same steadiness that tweezed a leg clean was the same steadiness that held a household together. Number 7. Zip Depilatory Wax. A commercial cold wax sold in a jar that could be spread at room temperature. No stove required, no guessing the temperature. Zip Epilator, later called Zip Wax, introduced in the 1920s. A thick honey-colored wax in a glass jar. About 75 cents, spread at room temperature with a small wooden spatula. Muslin strips included in the box. The advertisements in Good Housekeeping and Ladies' Home Journal showed women with perfectly smooth legs and calm expressions, as though pulling wax from the shin was no more eventful than buttering toast. The calm in the advertisement was a lie every woman recognized. The product worked. The pain was real. Nobody talked about it. The wax pulled the hair from the root. But there was a method even older than wax, one that required nothing but a steady hand and a flame. And most women today have never heard of it. Number 6. Singeing with a lit flame. Women passed a lit match, a taper candle, or a small alcohol lamp quickly across the skin to burn away fine body hair, particularly on the forearms and the sides of the face. A wooden kitchen match or a small taper, the quick pass of flame across the forearm, just close enough to singe the fine hair without touching the skin. The faint crackle, the brief smell of burnt hair, then nothing. Barbers had used the technique for decades on the nape and the ears. Women adapted it at home for peach fuzz and fine arm hair. Too slow, and you burn the skin. Too fast, and you miss the hair entirely. She held a lit match to her own skin and did not flinch. Not because she was fearless, because smooth arms mattered to her and she did what needed doing. There is something these methods share that no modern product replicates. Every one of them required a woman to know her own body. The exact pressure of pumice on her skin, the precise temperature of wax on her wrist, the right speed of a flame across her forearm. These were skills, learned, practiced, refined over years. The modern disposable razor asks nothing of the woman who holds it. Drag it down, throw it away, buy another one next week. Convenience replaced competence. The women's shaving industry now generates over $5 billion in annual revenue in the United States alone. Not because the solutions got better, because the skills stopped being passed down. Number 5. Borrowing his razor. Before the Lady Gillette or any pink-handled product existed, women shaved with whatever was available. Usually their father's or husband's razor borrowed from the bathroom shelf without asking. A Gillette safety razor from the medicine cabinet, or a leather stropped straight razor from the shelf above the sink. His Barbasol shaving cream in the white and red can, or just bar soap lathered in the palm. The weight of a man's razor in a woman's hand. The careful angle on the curve of the ankle, the nick at the Achilles tendon that bled through the stocking all day. No instructions, no tutorial. She watched him shave at the mirror and taught herself. She did not have her own razor because the industry had not yet decided she needed one. She borrowed his and never complained about it. She made do the way she made do with everything else. Number 4. Barium sulfide depilatory paste. Before modern depilatory creams, women used chemical pastes made with barium sulfide or strontium sulfide. They worked. They were also genuinely dangerous. Products like Pete's depilatory powder and X-Bazin lined drugstore shelves in the late 1800s and into the early 20th century. The pastes smelled like rotten eggs, Hydrogen sulfide gas released the moment the powder touched moisture. Mixed into a thick paste at the bathroom sink. Spread on, left no more than 5 minutes. Chemical burns were common, rashes that lasted weeks. The products carried no warnings and no ingredient lists. Women trusted the packaging because there was nothing else to trust. She spread a chemical she could not pronounce onto her skin in a bathroom with no ventilation. Not because she was foolish, because she had no other information. The company that made it gave her none. The chemical paste burned the skin. The next method pierced it, one hair at a time, with a needle and an electrical current. Number 3. Electrolysis. A trained operator inserted a fine needle into each individual hair follicle and sent a small electrical current through it to destroy the root, one hair at a time. The only method that promised permanent results. Charles Michel, an ophthalmologist, developed galvanic electrolysis in 1875. By the 1940s, electrolysis offices operated in most American cities. The patient lay flat on a padded table under a bright lamp. A fine steel needle, thinner than a sewing pin, slid into the follicle. A small burst of current, a faint sting like a pinprick, crossed with a spark. The smell of singed tissue, one hair, then the next, then the next. A full upper lip could take 30 minutes. $5 to $10 per session in the 1950s. The operator's hands had to be perfectly steady, one follicle at a time. She lay still for an hour and paid for the privilege of precision. She was not impatient. She was thorough. There is a difference the modern world has forgotten. Number 2. Thallium acetate cream. In the 1930s, a depilatory cream called Koremlu promised painless, permanent hair removal. Its active ingredient was thallium acetate, a heavy metal poison. Koremlu was marketed aggressively in women's magazines, elegant advertisements, a clean white jar, the promise of smooth, hairless skin without pain or odor. Women applied it to their faces, their arms, their legs. The hair fell out. Then more hair fell out. Hair they had not treated. Scalp hair, eyebrows, eyelashes. The thallium accumulated in the body. Nausea followed, then nerve damage, then vision loss. The American Medical Association investigated. Reports of permanent total hair loss, hospitalizations, at least one death attributed to prolonged use. The product remained on shelves for years before it was finally pulled. She trusted a product because a magazine told her to. The jar looked clean and the advertisement looked honest. Nobody told her it was poison until the damage was already done. Thallium was poison in a jar, but it was not the most dangerous method women endured. The last one on this list did not use a chemical. It used radiation, and it was performed by men in white coats who called themselves doctors. Number 1. X-ray hair removal. From the 1920s through the 1940s, women sat in offices and beauty parlors while X-ray beams were directed at their faces and bodies to destroy hair follicles. It was marketed as modern, painless, and permanent. The Tricho System, developed by Albert Geiser, was the most widespread. Women reclined in a padded chair. A technician positioned a cone-shaped X-ray device inches from the upper lip, the chin, the jawline. The machine hummed. The treatment was painless. The hair fell out within days and the skin looked flawless. Advertisements appeared in Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, and newspapers from New York to Los Angeles. About $75 per course of treatment, a tremendous sum at the time. What followed were years of delayed consequences. Radiation dermatitis, thickened scarred skin, chronic ulceration, skin cancer. By the time the machines were pulled from use, tens of thousands of women had been irradiated. The Tricho system alone may have been responsible for thousands of radiation injuries and an unknown number of cancer deaths over the decades that followed. She did not know what radiation was. She sat in a chair and trusted a man in a white coat who pointed a machine at her face and told her she would be beautiful. She paid $75 for the privilege. The scars came later. She was not vain. She was lied to. And the people who profited from it never said a word. 15 methods. A pumice stone, a bag of sugar, a bottle of peroxide, a lit match, a block of paraffin, a needle, a jar of poison, and a machine that delivered radiation to a woman's face. Every one of them tells the same story. Women did not need the beauty industry to solve the problem of body hair. They had already solved it a dozen times over. What they needed was for someone to stop selling them solutions that were worse than what they already had. And somewhere in a bathroom right now, a pumice stone still sits on the edge of the tub. Gray, worn smooth in the center, older than anything else on the shelf. Nobody remembers who put it there, but it still works.